So now the car is stripped, it's bare, there's nothing left on the car, only some good metal and some bad metal. And the bad metal is the thing we need to address.
The bad metal is no metal?
Yes, it's not, it's rust.
Holes.
Really. It's holes. And so that's the next step. We need to fix those, and the only way to properly do that is to weld new pieces to that. So we bought a welder, not the most fancy welder, but for our thin sheet metal it will do. And yeah, we practiced some. This beautiful contraption.
Try to make everything square and not blow holes in it, which we kind of did. So we're going to start with the easy parts, which are not really visible, and we're going to work our way up to the more difficult parts, which are bent and have to be really good looking and aligned. So wish us luck.
Fingers crossed.
Let's go. Ik denk dat hier toch genoeg is.
But first, we need to practice. So we made these two babies. This is, for the keen viewers among us, a part of our Volvo. This is going to be the square hole that we're cutting out there. And this is going to be the plate that we're welding against it. If you can see it, I don't know if you can zoom in a little. It has a small offset on the edge. And it has these holes. And the idea is that this fits in exactly right here, so that it's flush on the other side, and then we can tag weld these small holes, and then it's fixed in place. And then on the other side we will fully weld these edges to close them up, do some sanding, and hopefully it's going to be successful and it will be the perfect test, and then we're going to try it out in the car. Okay, it's not so horrible, but it's stuck, like it doesn't come loose. But as you can see, the whole plate is warped due to the heat, and we didn't get enough offset, so there's a I don't know, some kind of like a square dent now here. The points went fine, the tack welds, they were okay. But like when we started to fully weld this side, like it went downhill really fast. So yeah, first test, fail. So what's going to be different this time?
So we've tried creating a little offset on the previous part we practiced, but it didn't work out really well. So we're now just going to try to put in a square part and try to make it flush to some butt welding, I think it's called, right?
Butt welding.
Yeah. We're going to fill in this piece like this, try to fill up the edges, and I hope that that works better than our previous attempt. And now patience. Okay, spot welds, like 20 of them, trying not to warp the piece of steel too much. But I think, as you can see, that the gap between the two steel plates is a little bit too big, too large. So we have to tune that for the next round. But it warps less. I was overdoing it a little bit, doing a little bit too fast of spot welds. But I think if we take our time here, we have a little bit of a better heat sink. This method will work quite well. Now I'm just going to finish and fill it in because it's fun to end the experiment.
Look at the seams.
Seamless.
Or better, don't look at the seams because they're not there.
Ooh.
We think this one failed because the
failed.
this one was
Suboptimal.
Because the seams were not great. So we filled up the seams magically. Now they're gone. I'm gonna try, and now I'm gonna take it real slow because I don't want this plate to bend. So I'm gonna do one plug weld, take a cup of coffee, another one, take another cup of coffee. And by the end of, I'll be up here with coffee.
Terugkomen.
So the plate's still straight, good news. But we got some bad penetration.
Conclusions up until now.
I think our gap is too tight. Because we're getting some nice welds on this side, but on the other side we see too little penetration. And you could burn, like get a deeper penetration if you increase the power or the wire speed. I'm not really sure like if we should increase the power or the wire speed or both. I have to do some more research on that. But the problem then is that you're gonna introduce so much heat that it's gonna warp. So we have to find some golden ratio of gap size, power to wire feed speed. So, but we're getting closer, I think.
Practice on thin sheets of metal, 1 millimeter, and we actually try to simulate this hole on a test piece. So try what happened with bending and with the heat, if we burn through it or not. And we tried that, and we are like 50% successful. So we thought,
let's go.
So the first hole we want to weld is this one here. It's actually a self-made hole. Which went from the gas tank to the gasser hole. I have no idea what it means. All in all, we want all the gas system to be gone, so this hole needs to be gone, and it's a nice hole in an area which is not very visible, because this is going to be all covered with carpentry. And the plan is to cut out a square here, then make a little bit of an oversized square, and then tack weld it from the bottom so that you have your edges here, and then you... Yeah, that's good.
So, what happened? This hole here, it's gone. The first hole we officially made disappear. We're quite glad with the result. Obviously, it's no professional job, but it will do. And yeah, it's just the first time we weld on the car. That's done, so now we're not afraid anymore. Now everything's gonna be easy. In the meantime, we cleaned it. We should have done it before, but of course, like we did it afterwards. And we found something new. Of course, not good news. I think a really bad spot that we found is right here. I mean, I can see my feet. So obviously not nice. But there's a problem. Is that this kind of like bracket stiffener unit is in the way. And if this were out, this would make our life so much easier for welding this, because then it's just you cut out a square hole just like we did here, welding a new piece, and then you're done. So we're gonna try to see if we can remove this, because we think it's only slightly welded in with some small spots here. So that's up next. So as expected, unfortunately, we found some rust. Classic. This spot is really bad. There's literally holes. Same on the other side. In the middle, not sure. We're gonna see it, but now we're just gonna clear it out. See if there's actual metal underneath this, or if it's just rust. And hopefully we don't have to replace this whole bit, but only do the bits where it's like really gone. That's up next.
Kras is er klopt maar natuurlijk niet. Wat oh. Goed. Nick, why did you put my car on fire?
Shit's on fire, yo.
Dichtpoepen. Miauw.
Even doen, even...
Ja.
Where are we at?
So we actually cleaned up this whole part. We made this panel to fit, and it looks like we're kind of getting the hold of it. Nick and I are laying down some welds. We got some new settings, giving it a little bit more power. And now we're not only doing spot by spot, but also laying down some strips of weld. And the penetration is much better than the first spot we did. And yeah, now we're quite confident in how to manage the heat, and we go from corner to corner, laying like 10 beads of weld at a time, and it seems to work out pretty nicely. And actually we are so anxious to weld that we are both like, it's my turn now, and then we weld, so yeah, really cool.
Okay,
really
now
fun.
stop talking, it's my turn to weld.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meow. For mij, do you want to say?
I'm waiting for my ears.
Ah.
It's like the world volume is turned down now. What? Huh?
Of je worstlust.
If I like a sausage.
Yes.
Strange question.
Okay.
Maybe. What am I supposed to do? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to fix this hole, which is a little more complicated than the other ones because it's in a like an awkward position. So the plan is just to cut out a piece of metal which has this curve in here, and then see if I can beat a corner into it, so that I can kind of recreate this lip.
I'm going to tackle this hole.
Have you tackled a hole before in your life?
We talked about this, Nick. Yeah.
Use the greasy finger to indicate the lines. And I cut it out in metal. So far. Ja, daar ben ik ook hoor.
So last steps of our target practice welding session. We're going to finish the last edge which supports the petrol tank. Nick is going to tackle that, and then I'm going to tackle this edge which will hold the seal, the rubber seal. You can see like there are a few holes in here. And then basically the trunk is done. It might not look like it, but then we had like a lot of practice holes and we can start working on the
Important stuff.
The important stuff, yeah.
A little piece of metal to go in it.
Well, you know, I'm swapping it.
Robert, what did you do?
Nah, niks. Nothing happened. I'm very happy that you put the camera on my face after I just saw through a bracket. It's a little bit dumb, but in like
Only a little
time,
bit.
you will see how I fix this. Robert guarantee. Fuck. That's it. One is in, and Nick has made these two extra pieces, and what we're going to do now is do it piece by piece, cut out the next piece, weld it in, make sure that the shape is kind of correct so we can base the next plate on the previous one, and hopefully we can get the nice curve that was in there before. This one now is quite alright, quite nice.
Okay,
Okay.
take 2.
Okay, we are pretty happy how it turned out. Quite some challenges along the way.
You look really happy.
I am really happy. I think this is the final part of the kofferbak assembly. No, it turned out really nice. We shaved out all the welds, and I think this will be more than good enough to have to seal the trunk. So now next step is going to lift up the car and try to patch up that hole in the spare wheel well. Done. Woo! Yeah! Okay. Ja, dat is